Boxing King Media in association with boxer Dev Sahni, fresh from his Dubai tan. I've got to ask you, how was your first impression of Dubai?
I loved it. I thought it was so nice. It was just, I don't know, everywhere you looked, there was just something beautiful to look at. And I felt really safe just walking about. I just never felt in risk of sort of being mugged or potentially bummed. So I was quite happy with that.
It's quite funny though, because people years ago were scared to go there in case they get arrested and locked up and chucked away for years. But it's good to see the West getting used to it.
It was nice. Did New Year's Eve there and saw the fireworks at the Burj and all that. So it was a good trip, and I'd love to go back, like ASAP. I thought it was really, really nice. So yeah, can't recommend it highly enough.
Wicked. I don't normally do ice breakers, so let's just jump straight into this. So, Queensberry Promotions have beat everyone to Moses Itauma. I did speak to Francis and Moses himself. He doesn't sound like he spoke to anybody else.
I don't know. I don't know about any of that, but I know Carol Itauma has long been with Queensberry since his pro debut. He's the Olympic youth gold medalist, and Rico, Moses has been at all the shows, and he's been watching his brother, and he's been watching how well Frank's treated him, how well Francis has treated him, and obviously he's seen something that he's liked, and it's a great decision from him, and we've got something very, very special. Really, really exciting day. Just looking at it, this feels like an iconic day for British boxing going forward. So I'm over the moon. Like, he's going to be so fun to work with.
I don't know how much of his amateur career you've seen. I'm guessing you'll have seen the highlight video I did for him a few weeks ago. What would you make of it when you see him doing stuff like that, 18?
Yeah, he just looks like a freak. He moves like someone's considerably lighter, and he seems to have it all. And it's frightening to think that he's 18 years old. He can move like that. The reports coming out of the gyms, people like Lawrence Okoli sent me a voice note about how good Moses Itauma is, and said he just thought he was going to have a couple of rounds off. He's just some 15-year-old kid, and he felt like screaming towards the end of the spar. And Joe Joyce speaks highly of him. He's something special, and he's got his feet on the ground. He's got his brother with him as well. And he's got that, I don't know, there's like a kind of denseness about him where I haven't seen the chin tested yet, but I just got a feeling he's got a tremendous Joe Joyce-like chin. I don't really want to find out, but there's just something about that. He's got a massive head. So I think he's going to be hard to hurt, and he's going to hurt a lot of people.
That comment there is the most British comment ever, isn't it? What chin's he got? Because that's almost every boxing fan in the UK wants to have that question answered when they see a superstar in the making.
There you go. In the heavyweight division, you need to have a chin if you're going to go all the way. You don't get very many chinny sort of successful heavyweights. So I think he's got one. I hope he's got one. He's not 6'7", 6'8". He's not a giant. He's a good-sized heavyweight. He would have been a giant in a previous era. He's just a good-sized heavyweight. So it's all about mobility. It's all about being slick. It's about the power that he brings, and he's an awkward southpaw. So I can't wait. And this Mike Tyson record that he's after as well, I think we figured out he needs to do it by like the 22nd of May 2025. And if he's fighting 8 times a year, that means he's had 16 fights by then. Anthony Joshua won the world title in his 16th fight. It's achievable. He's got good people around him, and the guys that are top of the division now won't necessarily be there when he gets there. So I think he's got every chance of becoming the youngest ever world heavyweight champion.
On that note, because I asked Francis this as well, there's a very good chance Queensberry Promotions might have all the belts in 2 years' time, looking at the position Dubois is in, Joyce, Tyson might still be around. So, if I put it on your toes, looking at what you've seen of him in 2 years and whatever months it is, does he beat any of them 3 guys?
I'm not sure who's going to be around. So in 2 years' time, May 2025, will Tyson Fury still be fighting? Don't know. It might be a different answer today than what it is tomorrow. We don't know. I'm not sure Joe Joyce will still be fighting in 2 years' time. I think he would have done what he needed to do by then. I think Dubois will be knocking about. I think that could be a big fight in the future. Usyk, I think, would have gone. Maybe you'll get Joshua. You'll certainly still get Chisora. He'll be knocking about. Don't worry about that. I don't know. We need to see what he's like on his pro debut. He looks like he's got all the skills to beat anyone. So let's see if it transfers. He told me that he's very curious about what it's going to be like to not only hit with smaller gloves, but to be hit with smaller gloves, to hit someone with no head guard, to be hit with no head guard. All of these questions, I guess they're going to start getting answered on January 28th.
This might be a ridiculous question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Looking at what you've seen, 'cause you're a boxing fan, so you can see the ability he's got. Do you think if he jumped into the ring, because like I asked Shane Mcguigan this about Adam Azim against some of the world champions now, if he jumped in with one of them tomorrow, or any of the top 10 guys, do you reckon he beats any of them based on his talent alone?
It's hard to say. Look, it's very easy to just like hype him up and say, yeah, he'd knock out AJ and all that, but it's hard to commit to that. He hasn't had a professional fight yet. He hasn't been hit with smaller gloves. He hasn't taken any shots without head guards on, so we don't know. There's going to be a lot of boxes that he needs to tick on the way to where he's going. Has he got enough of a chin? Has he got enough stamina? Can he do 12 rounds? Has he got the power? All of these things. Has he got the heart if it gets hard? Will it get hard for him? All these things you need to sort of have a bit of an inkling of before you can answer a question about will he just chin AJ if he jumps in with him now? I don't know.
You mentioned AJ, so I'll just jump on to him quickly. I don't know if you've seen the article today from the Sun newspaper where Eddie Yen's kind of spoken about AJ making notes during training sessions and in his words maybe taking his mind off just doing the business rather than reading notes. Did you see that article?
Yeah.
What did you make of it? Can he kind of hints, he doesn't say it, but he kind of hints that Eddie felt that his best days were under Rob and maybe he should have stayed with Rob?
I think he's a deep thinker. I think there's that stuff about checking your notes in between hitting the bag. It's if it works for him, then fair play. I've never seen it, but you know he's got to where he is for a reason. But I think there's more reports emerging now. Everything boxing seems to get the scoop. Derek James apparently, and relocating to America. Now for him to be successful, this whole relocating to America or wherever he's going to go feels like a really good move. So if he's actually going to do that, not just bring over Robert Garcia or bring over a trainer to the UK in his home comforts, if he relocates, makes himself uncomfortable, gets comfortable being uncomfortable, then he's got a very good chance. That sort of thing is very encouraging to hear for AJ fans, especially if he goes to someone like Derek James, who...
When did that be? I didn't even know that.
So that's what's come out like today. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but you know, it's all rumours, isn't it? It's all rumours he'll fight Dempsey McKean and all of this stuff. But Derek James, he's got Charlo and he's got Spence, right? So these are proper like dogs in the gym with him. He won't just be there and be the top dog. He's got world champions around him, proper guys. So he needs that. He can't just be, in my opinion anyway, he can't just be king of the gym anymore. He needs pushback around him to get back that hunger.
Last question on that. Yourself and Barry Mcguigan have been having a bit of a back and forward debate on Twitter recently over AJ. Do you still stand by what you're saying? Because obviously if somebody wants to go back, they can read the timeline. But in short, I think Barry's suggesting that AJ, you know, he's still top of his game and he could beat Usyk and Wilder. I think that was a specific argument, wasn't it?
So what it was, before anything, so much respect for Barry Mcguigan. He's forgotten more about boxing than I'll ever know.
In case he's watching.
In case he's watching. So there's nothing like that. There was just one comment where I had a different opinion to him. He said something about he doesn't think that Wilder would knock out AJ. We don't know what Wilder's got left after what he's been through. So that was the comment. I thought, I don't know about that, because I've always backed Wilder to knock out AJ. I just think it would happen. And the point that I made was, I think Barry said after his two devastating losses, we don't know what he's got left. So the point I made was after his first devastating loss, he then went on to fight Tyson Fury again and knock him down twice. So he didn't seem to be hesitant in pulling the trigger. He didn't seem to lose any kind of heart. It was actually maybe a career best performance in terms of in a losing effort, a tremendous fight. And then after that devastating KO loss, his next fight was to knock out someone, Robert Helenius, in a round. So if the argument is that Wilder's potentially lost a step and therefore Joshua wins, I'm not sure that he has. If the argument's about miles on the clock, you could say they've both got miles on the clock. That was just kind of where I was with it. It was just the comment took me aback a bit.
Interesting stuff. And last one, are you looking forward to a trip to Saudi in a couple of months' time?
I don't know where we're going to go, but my case is packed or maybe unpacked. I don't know where we're going to go. I just hope we get to see this fight.
No worries. It looks like you've got a queue behind me, but Dev, I'm going to let you go.
Cheers, mate. Good to see you.